We're back. This time we're taking a look at a Wave 20 Constellation-class USS Hathaway for the Federation. This is one of the ones I borrowed from my friend, so we're missing our one skilled generic captain as well as our tokens, but we got everything else here and we're going to get in and take a look. First we have our Constellation-class dial. Unless you got the prize ship, the Stargazer, this is probably the first time you're seeing this. There we have our Constellation-class. Decent ship, lacking the one tight turns, but the twos are white, which is extremely nice, and you have that one reverse to surprise your enemy with. There we have our named USS Hathaway. 3 attack, 1 agility, 4 hull, 3 shield. 1 tech upgrade, 1 weapon upgrade, 2 crew upgrades for 22 points. Evasive, target lock, scan, and battle station. Pretty much a standard Federation package there. And our ability is during the activation phase, you may perform a second action from your action bar as a free action. If you do so, place an auxiliary power token beside your ship. Ability to take 2 actions at the cost of an auxiliary is definitely worth it. You can always pull one of those green maneuvers next turn and clear it off. Do 2 actions again the next turn, get yourself another one, and so on. Definitely a interesting potential there. We have our generic Constellation class ship. You're losing 1 shield. You're losing a tech upgrade as well as a crew upgrade on there for 20 points. For our captains, we have William T. Riker. Captain skill is 7. 1 elite talent for 4 points. And his ability is, when attacking a ship with a larger hull value than your ship, you gain +1 attack die. When defending against a ship with a larger hull value than you, you gain +1 defense die. Pretty nice. It's very fitting of the ship and the episode that this ship was from. For our elite talent, we have Improvised. 5 points. During the combat phase, when attacking or defending, you may disable this card and any number of your other upgrades to reroll a number of attack dice equal to the number of upgrades you disable with this ability, not including this card. So for every upgrade besides this one that you disable, you're going to be re-rolling one of your dice. Kind of useful. Definitely adds a little bit of quality to your dice. If you need something along those lines, I think there's better uses of 5 points and better uses of an elite talent, but it's there as an option. For our crew upgrades, we have Geordi LaForge for 5 points. All of your tech upgrades cost 1 point less. Can definitely reduce his cost significantly with that ability alone. When defending during the roll defense dice step, you may disable this card to roll 1 additional defense die for each tech upgrade deployed to your ship, to a maximum of 2. So not only are you getting your tech upgrades at a cheaper cost, they're giving you extra defense based on just having them on board with him. Definitely a nice combo there. Next we have Wesley Crusher for 5 points. At the start of the game, place up to 3 Federation tech upgrades, each 4 points or less, face down under this card. During the activation phase, you may discard this card to flip one of those upgrades face up and deploy it to your ship, even if it exceeds your ship's restrictions. If you do so, remove the other 2 face down upgrades from the game and put an auxiliary power token on your ship. For 5 points, you're basically getting your choice of 3 4-point tech upgrades that you can swap in. You can only use 1 per game, but it gives you the ability to be a little more adaptive based on your current situation. You're just screwed if somebody draws the Shut Up Wesley card and counters him completely.
Shut up, Wesley!
That doesn't actually exist, but it should. Next we have Worf for 5 points. When defending, you may disable this card. If you do so, the attacking ship rolls 1 fewer attack dice and cannot spend any battle stations or target lock tokens to modify the attack roll. Your ship may roll its full defense dice in spite of the presence of any scan tokens beside the attacking ship. Decently useful. It's kind of situational, but at the same time he's reusable. He's a disable, which really makes it worth it. Not only are you reducing their attack die, but the ability to prevent them from using battle stations or target locks, especially if you're playing against like Romulans and they're using that one guy who lets you reroll twice with a target lock. You can really deny them a lot of dice quality with that, as well as getting your full defense regardless of the scan tokens. Pretty much an all-around useful card. For weapon upgrades, we have Photon Torpedoes. 5 points, attack value 5, range 2 to 3. Spend your target lock and place 3 time tokens beside this card to perform the attack. You can convert one of your battle stations to a critical, and it can be fired from front or rear arc. Pretty much your standard photon torpedoes with the time token mechanic instead of the disable. I think they're switching all of them over to this format in the future here. Makes them a little more action economy friendly, as you don't have to spend the specific action to re-enable them, but you do have to wait a couple turns before you can fire them again. For tech upgrades, we have Navigational Station, 4 points. After you perform a green maneuver, you may disable this card to immediately perform an evasive action as a free action. No ship can be equipped with more than 1 navigation station upgrade. Free evasive actions on the same turn you pull green maneuvers. It's worth it. It's a disable, so you have to spend an action later on to re-enable it if you want to use it again. But always nice to have an extra option there. Next we have Warp Jump, 5 points. At the start of the combat phase, before any attacks have been made, you can discard this card, remove your ship from the play area. At the end of the combat phase, after all ships have attacked, place your ship anywhere in the play area but not within range 1 to 3 of another ship. All tokens that were beside your ship are removed. You cannot attack during the round in which you use this ability. Pretty thematic to the episode of the show that this is from, and a nice way to save yourself if you're in a bad situation. You can basically warp out, reappear somewhere else, and redo a strategy from your new location. The mission that comes with this one is Battle Simulation. It's, straight up taken from the episode that this ship is from. You have a 40-point Ferengi Marauder versus 80 points of Federation, which has to use the Enterprise-D with Jean-Luc Picard and the Hathaway with William Riker. And there's a planet token and the special rules for the scenario. I don't even own this one, so obviously I haven't played it, but in the episode of the show that it's from, the 2 ships were doing a training exercise fighting each other and had their weapons severely reduced so that they couldn't do any damage, and they were attacked by a Ferengi ship and didn't have any weapons to defend themselves. There we have our base for the USS Hathaway, 180-degree front arc, always nice. Then we have our Constellation class. I think it's kind of funny how the Constellation and the original teeny prize back in the day, the Constitution class, have 180-degree arcs, but then when you get to the newer, more modern ships, they decided that they can only fire straight forward. They didn't need that extra arc. I'm still waiting for the day that we get a ship that has left and right arcs, but no forward and rear, and can shoot out its flanks. So again, unless you actually got the Stargazer OP prize, you probably haven't seen the Constellation model before. It is tiny, but it's very detailed. If I can get her to focus there. The new one's molded in the silver plastic that all the newer ships are done in. Which is kind of funny because the original one was actually molded in this gray plastic, which is a lot better for the Federation ships than I think both the new silver and the bluish gray that they've molded a lot of the other ships in. So I'm not sure why they didn't stick with that one, but overall the detail wise is exactly the same on these. The silver makes the colors on the nacelles very hard to see, but there is paint there. Definitely one that can use a skilled painter and really stand out if you want to take the time and effort for it. Overall, it's a pretty mid-range expansion. Nothing spectacular, lots of average stuff. For Federation players, you got a few decent upgrades in here. Definitely some interesting combos you can pull. The warp jump has its uses. And always nice to see a new Riker, though I think the one from the hood still stands out better than this one overall. The scenario is entertaining, follows the episode well. If you're a collector, you're going to want it. If you're a Federation player, you're going to want it. Cross-faction wise, there's not anything hugely important in here, so it's one that you can probably skip if you're not a die-hard Federation player. Anyway, that's it for this one, and we'll see you in the next video.